Well, welcome back to Focus Today, where we have a special guest who's an author. That's right, author Karen Kingsley. And it looks like, Karen, you have just got off the treadmill and off the Stairmaster, and you're joining us today. I'm glad that we're able to fit it in between workouts.
Exactly. Yes, I'm from Kingsbury, and I do love to work out. It's fun. So I felt like it would be a good place to do my interview.
I think it's wonderful. I don't think we've ever had a backdrop of a gym before, so I think it works well for me. Karen, you have been so prolific. You've authored books that have sold more than 25 million copies, and the latest is called 15 Minutes, which I have to ask you, was this the inspiration from Andy Warhol's comment that at some point he said, kind of in jest, but we're seeing this, I think, even more accurately now that everybody eventually will have 15 minutes of fame. Was that kind of the inspiration of your title?
Absolutely. In my fictitious world, 15 Minutes is an American Idol type show. It competes with American Idol, and it's based absolutely on the 15 minutes of fame.
It's an interesting topic because I imagine you could go in any direction you wanted on this. Give us the backdrop of all of this. Was this just something that popped in your mind and said, I need to write this, or was the process one in which you thought, you know, this is worth exploring? How does that work out?
Well, we've been fans, our family has been fans of American Idol since season 1. And we gather around and we tune in every week, and we're compelled by the stories. People, you know, regular people are from Oklahoma, and they're students and waitresses and firefighters, and they can sing. And they show up at these shows, and then over time, they literally are changed. And you can watch it happen. I mean, they have different hair, they lose weight, they have different teeth. And I kind of have been compelled by that and thought to myself, well, can they ever go back? I mean, what's this cost? And really, you know, who are the real winners?
Well, now that is an interesting thing, because I think probably the one that changed the most was probably Susan Boyle. At least she was for Britain's Got Talent. Here you have somebody who, and I was mentioning this earlier this morning, you see her video and you see the people looking at this woman who's a dowdy, somewhat middle-aged woman, not quite that old, but she kind of looked like it. She comes out and they think, what can she possibly do? This is just going to be a joke. And then she blows the socks off. And you see her lifestyle, how it changed so much that she had some problems that she had to really deal with. And I think she's come out on the other side of it. But I suppose that doesn't always happen, does it? Where they necessarily come out positively.
Yeah, it really doesn't. I mean, one of the best examples of a good situation would be Mandisa. You know, Simon, I mean, just raped her over the coals. He made fun of her, and unbeknownst to her. And then when she found out, she was back, you know, in a moment with him on the air, and she told him that she knew, and she knew what he had said about her weight. And then she said, I forgive you though, Simon. I forgive you because Jesus forgave me. And that was the most beautiful moment. And Mandisa has stayed true to her platform, but that is the rare exception. Most people really struggle with going from this normal everyday life to having millions of people singing their songs and wanting a piece of them and their fame.
Now, this might be another side of it, kind of the other sequel is, I think of all those people who during the audition periods think that they are going to be the next idol, they're the hottest thing, because, well, my friends and my family tell me I'm such a great singer, and they're crushed, and the look on their face is one of true astonishment. I don't think they're faking it when they realize they're not going to make the grade because they think they're the next big thing. And I suppose that transformation now to total rejection is almost another angle you could take on all of this. But as you look at this aspect, the question I notice that's put out there is, what would you sacrifice for fame? Is that kind of what you're getting at in this book, is to have people look at what are you willing to give up to get what you think is going to possibly be fleeting?
Definitely. I mean, I think it's that quest for popularity, and it started, I mean, you saw it back with Jesus when he'd been tempted in the desert for 40 days, and then Satan says, you know, take yourself to the top of the temple and throw yourself down and your angels will catch you. And wow, wouldn't that be a famous reality moment? You know, and Jesus, of course, he thwarts that with the word. But through time, we've seen that popularity is something people are willing to pay a price for, whether it's peer pressure in high school or now on a global level, we kind of rank ourselves and other people by the number of likes and views and followers that we have on social media. So, you know, you look and you say, I would venture to say anyway, you know, by the end of this book, I hope the readers say I wouldn't be willing to pay anything for it. I love my life and I love who Christ made me to be, and that's enough.
All right. I just want to remind our viewers and listeners that Karen Kingsbury is the author of the book 15 Minutes that we are talking about. #1 on the New York Times bestseller list as an author. Thank you. Congratulations to you on that. More than 25 million copies sold of your books. That's just pretty amazing. I want to go back to what you talked about when you and your family are sitting watching American Idol and you're seeing the reaction of your kids. And we didn't have, when we all grew up, these American Idol types of shows on TV and the expectations of who the next star would be. Do you see a generational difference between parents and their kids as to how they are viewing these kinds of shows and this kind of a winner that you are portraying in your book?
Shows like American Idol give us a great opportunity to dialogue with our kids about what is real in terms of success. You know, sometimes they'll say, you know, that isn't fair. That guy loved the Lord and he got voted off. And we'll have a chance to dialogue with them and say, well, you know, he gets to go back and be a part of his church and he hasn't had to compromise anything that he can't, you know, overcome at this point. And when you look at the people who maybe have won the whole thing, in some cases, will they ever need God now because they think they have it all? And, you know, just kind of helping our kids to see what is real success. What is real fame? And what does it mean in light of salvation and eternity? And I think shows like that can give us a chance to dialogue into what is a generational difference, for sure, the way that our kids view reality series and reality and fame.
Are any of your family portrayed in some way in this book? Do you, I mean, normally an author will take some of their own current life scenarios. Are some of those played out in this book?
You know, in this case, not really, although our son, who's 21, he sings, and I have a book trailer for 15 Minutes, and he's the one playing the lead character in the book trailer. So you can, you know, go to YouTube and look up Karen Kingsbury and 15 Minutes, and it's pretty fun. It's a pretty good trailer that kind of shows the dilemma that Zach Dylan is facing. So Tyler, my son, got to play that, and he is a real singer. He's a real songwriter. But I think growing up in this family, there's a definite sense. I mean, I was raised by my dad who, before I ever sold a book, he said, you will sell books, you will be a bestseller, people are going to know you, but don't ever believe it. Make sure you remember there'll be no autograph lines in heaven. So I love that.
Wow, and obviously that has an impact on you now. How different is this book from some of the others that you've written?
Well, you know, I love that it's not a series, so it's a standalone, and it gives me a chance to take on a topic that I've never been able to write about before. So different in the sense that it's the first time I've looked at something with reality TV, and I mean, that's dominating the stations, the cable networks now, obviously. Some for the good, you know, Duck Dynasty, getting a chance to pray in the name of Jesus, you know, every week. I love that. And they're great people. But sometimes, you know, you just look and you think, what are these crazy people willing to do for fame? And you know, so I think this book gets a chance to examine that and hopefully, you know, give my readers an opportunity to walk away saying, I think I'm the winner.
So this is something that I'm getting the idea is not just a certain age group focused book. This would be for anybody who's part of the current culture with American Idol and all of that, right?
Absolutely. There's a lot of Twitter in this book. There's a lot of Facebook, a lot of, you know, just how social media moves things along. And it's sometimes how we find out about what someone we love is even doing, of course. So there's a lot of that. It's very current, relevant, and I think speaks to the different generations.
Despite your own success, you mentioned about what your father had told you. Is that what really has kind of kept you grounded, that the comments about no autograph lines in heaven and that kind of thing, that seems to have been a touchstone. Is that pretty much for you? Absolutely.
You know, it was a reason that I had intentionality when the book started to sell well, that I could always say, Lord, this has nothing to do with me and everything to do with you. And it gave me the chance to be able to you know, really be able to resonate with all the things that my dad said, and not just the idea of the autograph lines, but also he would say to me, don't believe it. And I mean, he would say, if you believe it, if you start to believe you're something special, you've lost it. You've lost the heart that you're writing from. And that caution has stayed with me every day.
Oh, that's amazing. Any preview of what we might be expecting coming from your pen down the line?
Well, I just finished a book that will be out next year, and it is called Chasing Sunsets. And it's about a washed-up baseball player and the love he left behind, and an old woman with Alzheimer's and the grace that just might save them all.
Sounds like another great principles taken from the Bible, I suppose one could assume from that. That sounds fascinating. Is there a title for that yet, or is that a work in progress still?
That one's called Chasing Sunsets.
Oh, Chasing Sunsets, right. All right. Karen Kingsbury, I appreciate that very much. Let me just tell you what Publishers Weekly has said. Kingsbury considers the cost of fame and a tale that is sure to cause tears. So keep the Kleenex next to you, I guess, with this book, right?
Yes, definitely.
Karen Kingsbury, author of 15 Minutes, the book that you can pick up now. Thanks very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.